Trench warfare. Trench cross-section. World War I. On the Western Front, trench systems were developed into a sophisticated network. In 1914, trenches were quickly dug out by both sides, parallel to each other, from the North Sea through Belgium and France. The trenches would offer some protection for the troops from overwhelming enemy artillery and infantry fire. Entrenching was the fast method of creating a trench system by having soldiers dig foxholes. This was dangerous, as it would be done in the line of sight of the enemy. A sapper could then transform this into a more sophisticated trench system that was deep enough for a man to safely stand up. As the war went on, the trench systems became more complex for permanent occupation. The wall facing the enemy was called a parapet, which was strengthened with sandbags to protect from enemy fire and wooden planks to strengthen the sides of the trench from collapsing in. Here there was a fire step that formed a firing position and a way for the soldier to step out onto no man's land. An ammunition shelf was also dug into the side. The wall facing the back of the trench was called the parados. Here were dugouts where the soldier could eat and sleep and seek protection from artillery bombardments. More sophisticated protection came in the form of underground bunkers, which could also be used for storage of ammunition, food, and weapons, as well as...
Yeah. And that goes on and on. I don't know about you, but growing up, all the kids, there were some healthy kids, and then there were kids like me. All the kids liked World War II. Personally, I was a big World War I fan. It was because I really liked knights, and then there was like this weird transition between like the Revolutionary War era where we're standing with our fucking muskets, and then we fire, and then we load, and we're just standing there, right? And everyone can fucking see us, and they're just taking pot shots at us. And then we have the Civil War where we're using guerrilla tactics. And then there's fucking World War I, where we're just sitting in these goddamn trenches trying to figure out how to out guerrilla tactic the other person in front of us, and it's all fucked up, right? We're just sitting there for like 6 to 8 months, and we know that as soon as anybody flinches, we're fucking dead. That shit's hardcore, right? And then World War II showed up, and fucking technology, warfare technology, was so crazy that warfare is basically fucked, right? It's kind of dishonorable. It's whoever has the biggest gun, whoever has the fastest gun, whoever has the best health, right? Whoever catches the other person by surprise, you're probably gonna win, unless you're like in Vietnam. Unless you were willing to just go to the next fucking crazy level where the person with the best weapons is like, why the fuck would you ever do that? Why would you do that shit, right? This is not a war show, but as I have talked about a whole bunch on First Kick Seahawks, this is the show where we prepare you for the first kick of every play by game day. I'm Camden MacLaren. Football, especially in that World War I, World War II era, where a lot of players were getting drafted and then re-entered football, the Train, right? Famous defensive player, was heavily influenced by warfare. In fact, they ran their fucking training camps like a military camp many times. And then another very important aspect of football is, how do these players get injured? When this dude destroys his fucking patellar tendon, like let's say Jordan Brooks, when he destroys his patellar tendon, which is supposed to be, this guy is done. He's never going to walk normally again. How can we make this guy, who's one of the fastest, quote unquote, fastest human beings on earth, and then we see a ref run a 4.2, right? Next to one of the fastest human beings on earth. When this guy destroys his patellar tendon, can we create an environment where corporations are going to want to invest in rebuilding his leg so the U.S. military doesn't have to do it? So we don't have to be in wartime to invent penicillin. I think that was World War I. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on this. Penicillin was developed off of like a mold from cheese. And that's how we have penicillin. It was developed off of some type of thing like that, right? And if we hadn't been in wartime, we wouldn't have needed to invent that. But obviously you don't want somebody to go out there, get injured in the middle of combat, and then have a MASH unit like in Korea to have to figure out how to, well, we got this surgeon fresh out of college. He's now traumatized because he's been sewing bodies together for the last 6 months. We don't need to lose soldiers. How do we keep this guy's recovery rate from 8 months or from 2 years, right? How do we lower this thing's rate? Well, in the case of Jordan Brooks, when he blew out his patella, I'm pretty sure it was his patella, his recovery rate was like less than a year. Which that used to be the you're fucking done injury. What did they do? Did they do that crazy technology where they shave the ACL and then let it heal by growing back together? No. They cut his patella out. They took the patella from a fucking cadaver and then they sewed that in there. He healed in like 8 months and then he was back on the field, tackling and running all over the place at like 4-3, right? That's what football is often about. And so when I talk about trench warfare, I'm talking about the trenches of the football field. That's where most of the game is played. It's this hard-hitting, snot-nosed football where people are just fucking clobbering each other, right? That's where a lot of that tactics is coming from, is World War I. And that's the shit I fucking live for, right? So people are mad about this Patriots game as far as Zach Charbonnet. But if you watched my show before the game, I told you that was going to happen. I fucking told you. Hey, if he runs for like 0 yards on a play, if he runs for 1 yard on a play, you know what's going to happen? It's going to move a defender, specifically the outside linebacker, out of the way. It's going to move the safety out of the way, and we're going to either get 1 cover or we're going to get 0 cover, and then we can give him the middle finger. We're going to give him the middle finger. And you know what we did? We got a 56 fucking yard touchdown with DK Metcalf. Because if we used the hurry up, we moved him out of the way using trench warfare, and we got a fucking deep touchdown where he was untouched. We got multiple plays that were verticals where we just gave the Patriots the middle fucking finger. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Now, I didn't get everything I wanted. I didn't get everything I wanted. I wanted a fucking dig route. I wanted a deep dig route for DK Metcalf. 15 yards. I didn't get it. But I got just about everything else I wanted. I wanted Zach Charbonnet to keep running the ball, even if it was nothing. But we got all the verticals. We got all the vertical routes, and it was beautiful. We got all these little routes underneath on the outside to move players downward, right, to get the safeties slid over to the side, and it was fucking beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. I want to go over some of these stats. And if you're wondering, Camden, why didn't you record immediately after the show if it was so beautiful? Guys, I was sick as a fucking dog. School year just started, and school year started, and all the kids that got sick then went to the grocery store where I go to the grocery store, and then they put their little germy hands on things, and I touched those germy parts where they were touching, and then I ended up getting sick as a fucking dog because of it, because of my compromised immune system. And so I was coughing up a storm and slept most of that evening. And then I slept most of today, but now I'm awake. I'm awake and I'm ready to talk about this overtime win against the Patriots. So if you're excited about this, please like the video, subscribe to First Kick Seahawks, and if you really want to support this show, you can buy me a coffee in the link below. Here we go. Total yards, Seahawks 358, Patriots 310. You know I'm not a yards girl, but let's get to the important total yards. 312 passing yards, 125 passing yards for the Patriots. I already established before the game, we are no longer a passing league. We are a running league. In fact, a lot of these teams right now, their quarterbacks are having trouble even hitting 200 yards. But we had Geno Smith hit over 300 yards. And people are debating this. Some say he had 5 drops, 2 by DK, 2 by JSN, or 1 by JSN, and 2 by Noah Fant. I saw 2 JSN drops, 2 by DK, 2 by Noah Fant, so 6 drops. 5 drops or 6 drops, whatever. He was averaging like 10 yards a pass. So that's like an extra 50 yards passing right there. Dude had well over 300 air yards, right? He should have had way more than over 300 yards passing. Geno Smith was fucking balling. Meanwhile, Jacoby Brissett, who was dicing us up at the start of the game. For instance, of his 7 completions, he went 7 for 7 to start the game. 5 of those went to their tight end Henry. Dodson, our tight end, our inside linebacker, was covering most of them. But and actually, now that I see it, I'm curious. Receiving, Hunter Henry, he had 8 receptions for 109 yards, averaging 13.6 yards a carry, a reception. Yeah, so the first 5 out of the 7 went to Hunter Henry. And that means that most of their yardage came in that first half. We shut their passing game the fuck down. We sure as fuck did. Now, I did mention in that pregame show, they don't have receivers to save their fucking life. I'm sorry, Husky fans. Jalen Polk is not that guy. Just like Seahawk fans, Jermaine Kearse was not that guy. You might like the kid, but he's no Tyler Lockett, who was the number 1 receiving threat at TCU. He got all of the targets at TCU. He was not a DK Metcalf who got all of the targets. He was not the JSN who Olave and I don't remember the other dude said was better than both of them. And then his final year got all the goddamn targets. Yeah, we shut down that fucking passing game because they didn't have much to work with to begin with, to be honest. What's most important is the rushing yards. Of course, we didn't rush a lot. We rushed for 46 yards. And they rushed for a total of 185 yards. This is important. Their leading rusher was Antonio Gibson. He had 11 for 96. Everyone remembers that last rush. It was like 46 yards, something like that. Basically, he was 10 for like 50-something yards, which is not good. That's like 5 yards a carry. Not good at all, and it felt like it on the field. That offensive line, specifically the interior of the line, was working us. They kept pushing us to the side, and there'd be a gigantic lane. There were some missed tackles. I would be curious to see how many missed tackles Stevenson had. Historically, he has had a lot of missed tackles. In week 1, there were 13 missed tackles. It wasn't just him, though. Our guys in week 1 and in this week, whenever we have hit the quarterback, we have bounced off like a bouncy ball going against a wall. We're not wrapping up. We're doing a good job against receivers and against tight ends, but it's almost like we're so fucking excited to hit a guy going full throttle that we're not finishing the play. Mike McDonald was quoted as saying that he was so mad about the way that the defense performed. They only gave up 20 points, right? He was so mad at the way that the defense performed that he didn't even watch the tape on the flight home. So that should improve. It's week 2. All teams have trouble tackling and having pursuit angles in the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, when we would watch the Seahawks under Pete Carroll the last 6 years, they would always be historically bad. Under Mike McDonald, not historically bad, but bad enough that shit can fucking happen. Where Gibson's going to get 96 on 11 carries, take away the one in the big 40, you're going to get about 5 yards a carry. But Ramondre Stevenson, they ran the ball with him 21 times for 81 carries, 3.9 yards a carry, and a touchdown. So about 4 yards, right? But 21 carries, when Marshawn Lynch or Adrian Peterson or Frank Gore, any of those guys, hell, Christian McCaffrey, whenever those guys would carry 21 times, whenever those guys would have multiple missed tackles, they would be well to, if not well past 100 yards. So, bravo for our defense for not only overcoming all those missed tackles, but still holding the guy to 81 yards. Let's do some fucking math right here, okay? 11 carries plus 21 carries. That alone, they carried the ball 31 times on us. 32 times on us. That's how simple math works. They also carried with Jermichael Hasty, who only got 2 yards on 1 carry, so not that hasty. So that's 33 carries. And then Jalen Polk, he had an end around for 1 carry, 34 carries. Jacoby Brissett had 2 carries for 6 yards. So they carried the ball 36 fucking times on us. 36 times. And they only got 185 yards. I need to do something. Where's this calculator? Because I'm not a math whiz. 185 divided by 36 is about 5 yards a carry. Which is not great. But when you consider they had that one play that swings the whole average, let's do something. 185. Let's say he got 45 yards. Minus 45, that's 140. Divided by 35. Most plays, they carried the ball for 4 yards. A little bit better, wouldn't you say? Now that one play was a gigantic fucking play, right? But consider this. Jerome Baker out. Tyrese Knight, kind of, as I said in our off-season breakdown of him, kind of known for having trouble on the outside and getting off blocks. And that, I'm 90% sure, was him on that gigantic play. And there was a few plays there where he was getting beat. Boye Mafe, it was either a thigh or a knee contusion. So we have room to grow. Those missed tackles, a lot of the time we were just fucking bouncing off of people. But also put into account Alex Van Pelt, where, as I said, he took the Browns that were ranked 30th running the ball and made them top 5. And now he took the Patriots that were 30th running the ball, and they look like a top 5 unit for fucking sure. Iron sharpens iron. We went against this sorry ass fucking Broncos team that obviously their quarterback sucks so hard. His best play has been a fucking trick play. He's like 2 plays beyond 10 yards have been good plays, and one of them was a trick play. The rest have been all underneath. He's averaging like 5 yards a fucking pass completed. It's really fucking bad. Bronco fans have already given up. Their only consolation for the season is that Russell Wilson has been injured for 2 years. For 2 games. That's the best they got for this season. In fact, there was a really fucking good. I know this isn't a Broncos thing. I'm fucking loving this Broncos misery right now. There was something really good about the Broncos earlier. Now I gotta find it. Bryce Young, by the way, got benched. I love that too. Here it is. Courtesy of Trey Wingo. 29 of 32 NFL teams have more offensive yards than their punter. 3 teams do not. The Broncos, the Chicago Bears, and the Panthers. The 6th quarterback drafted in the first round. Fuck the fucking Broncos. The Chicago Bears' first overall pick this year. The Panthers' first overall pick last year. And then we got Geno fucking Smith out there fucking balling. God damn it, I love the NFL. I love the NFL so much, and I love shitty organizations. But my point is, we played one of the worst teams in the NFL week 1. And we looked great, except for our offensive line. This week, against the Patriots, we played Jacoby Brissett, who doesn't have any wide receivers. And they almost beat us. Because our offensive line, who was at one point rolling out their 3rd string left tackle, granted we were playing with our 3rd string right tackle, but they were playing with their backup left guard. So their left side of their fucking line was all beat up. They almost beat us. It took a blocked field goal. We almost had 2. And we'll get to that. And then an overtime win to beat them. That should be a really good Patriots team on defense, special teams, and on the offensive line. And then Jacoby Brissett he's, as they said during the fucking stream, he ties Aaron Rodgers, or he's number 2 to Aaron Rodgers, for the quarterback in NFL history to not turn over the ball as far as ratio. So he's good at not turning over the ball. He did not. Right. Next week, we're probably going up against Tyler Huntley. Dolphins signed Tyler Huntley. I believe Tyler Huntley, when he was with the Cardinals, beat us. Pretty sure he was with the Cardinals. You can never tell. He's one of those free agent quarterbacks that gets passed around and then beats us. Maybe it was when he was with the Packers. I don't quite remember. Point being, we have not been thoroughly tested. And we're going to, this next week when we go up against the Dolphins, their defense is like 15. They do have an all right pass rush, and they do have Jalen Ramsey, but it is not the Patriots defense. And it is definitely not that sorry-ass Broncos defense that held us in check. Their quarterback situation's in the air, but they do have Tyreek Hill. Mostert is hurt, probably still out. Achane is hurt, probably still out. And then they have like this running back Wilson. The Lions, assuming they have no health issues, that's going to be our first real fucking test of the season. So, Week 1 was a good test for the offense. Get your shit together on the offensive line, because a bad team might just let you spot the other team 10 points. You might get picked off on the second play of the game, do nothing the entire first half, and spot them 2 points in safeties, and then don't muff the fucking punt D. Williams. This last game, D. Williams did do better. He almost had a ball go, a punt return go to the house. And then the offensive line is fucking trench warfare. Give fucking Geno Smith a chance to complete the passes. It's great. We did see Christian Haynes out there. I saw some good plays. There was a really bad play that that somebody pointed out to me that I thought was Anthony Bradford. It was not Anthony Bradford. But the offensive line needs to get its shit together. And I've been mad at Scott Huff. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. Maybe it is the players. They need to get their shit together. But that is the main issue on offense, other than catching the goddamn ball. That's their homework for the week. You guys need to not get completely blown up on pass blocking, run blocking. It is what it is. But that's 2 weeks in a row where the Broncos and the Patriots have blown you guys up. And then you guys just need to actually catch the ball. These aren't the hard passes. There's nobody on me. I'm wide open and I'm just, I'm getting too excited to go up the field. I need to just complete the catch. That's their homework for the week. On defense, you need to, when you hit the quarterback, not bounce off him. You need to bring him down. Boy, Mafe was doing a good job at that, but it's the entire defense, right? One thing of note in particular, and I don't know if this is a fucking scheme thing or if this is a Devin Witherspoon thing. They sent Devin Witherspoon a lot as the cat rushing at the quarterback, and then you could see Stevenson just tear down the field, Gibson tear down the field through the gap. And generally speaking, if the quarterback hands the ball to the runner, there's no reason to keep running at the quarterback. You need to loop around and at least become the backside tackler, because what if that running back tries to bounce because there's no hole there? Or what if the guy in front is trying to tackle him and he needs help from you from behind? He needs one more body to help bring him down, right? You could see Devin Witherspoon on at least three occasions, at least. Just beeline it straight for the quarterback. And maybe that was to stop the RPOs, right? They're like, fuck it, don't even care. Don't even try to tackle the halfback. But what coach would ever fucking do that? Now, if you have two guys going in, one at the halfback, but even then, right, if you see that the guy's handed it off to the halfback, fucking round out and go behind the halfback and pull him down. Witherspoon needs to get better at that. So we have a tackling behind the line of scrimmage issue. And I bet 100% I would put all of my money down that is why Mike McDonald was pissed the fuck off. Because our tackling and our sacking behind the line of scrimmage was atrocious. It was atrocious. And in fact, I've talked about this in preseason, in camp, in training camp. Pete Carroll, he focused on two things: don't get exploded over the top, and then focus on making the explosive plays behind the line of scrimmage, the Steeler way, right? We want to create negative plays backwards and prevent negative plays, over the top. And then we want to create, make sure that we prevent our own negative plays backwards when we're on offense and create positive plays that are explosive. And so if you can get a sack or a tackle for a loss, that's bigger than allowing them to get a 5-yard rush. And part of the reason they kept getting these 5-yard rushes is because we fucked up on creating tackles for loss or sacks. Dude kept bouncing, and Brissett is really good at staying upright, obviously. But a lot of those plays, I would say, and I'm rounding, right? For every 10 plays that we hit Brissett, 3 of them were him making a play, which is not good. That should have been a negative play for sure. All right, I want to talk a bit about crybabies. I have a link to this below, but courtesy of the Boston Herald, Seahawks wideout admit refs botched the key penalty. Patriots defender says, straight up, that's what he told me. It was this gentleman right here, the man with the great cheeks. Yeah, straight up, that's what he told me, Jones said post-game. It sucks. I kind of feel like that's what was the play of the game, you know what I mean? But I'll go back, watch it on film, see if there's something that I could have did better and take it from there. Yeah, I'm not going to bash the refs, Duggar said. I know there was a lot of physicality going on from the Seahawks as well as ourselves. It definitely wasn't a call in the right direction. I feel like they were both battling, and they kind of just chose the defensive guy. He's talking about the play that sets up the field goal. That was that in overtime, or was that just... Yeah, that was the one in overtime. Here's the thing. 1, the flag that Tyler Lockett got at the beginning of the game, I don't think was defensive pass interference or holding or whatever the fuck. It wasn't a flag. It was the Cooper Kupp play. It was the play where Cooper Kupp gets his hands on you as a defender, right? And then he tilts his body and he leans, because you also have your hands on him. Your defenders are taught to have their hands on you while they're looking for the ball so that they can feel which direction you're going. And so then what Cooper does is he kind of holds you a bit, and then he tilts as if you're shifting his weight. Whether it's a slightly uncatchable ball or not doesn't matter. And that flag has been thrown by for the Rams a lot. And Tyler Lockett historically has gotten those types of flags his entire career. In his prime, it was I'm running a deep vertical, and then I'm going to make it look like I would have been able to get this ball that was underthrown, and I'm just going to back into you and act like you boxed me out and shoved me. And then we're going to get this deep fucking 40-yard pass, even though I had no chance of catching it at all because you made a great play. I'm just going to back into you. Tyler Lockett does this all the time. Sean McVay coaches players to do this. Speaking of Cooper Kupp, he's probably going on IR. He might even be done for the season. So, on one hand, I get it. He didn't do anything. On the other hand, it's become the NFL norm. What you need to do is not have your hands facing this way in the corner. You need to have one hand, and you need to have your hips tilted. You need to have a hand in the direction of the play of the ball. That's how you prevent it, so that players can't do that to you. You have hand of direction, you have hand of the ball. And we've talked about this on the show a whole bunch. So I get it, but it is preventable. And not only did it happen once, but if in fact he was not doing it to Tyler on the second flag, you should have learned from the first one to not put yourself in that situation. How you prevent it is you don't have your hips square with the receiver. You have your arm going the direction of the play, and then you have your other hand in the direction of the ball. Otherwise, the ref can't see his hands. And all he's got to do is flop a little, and it's going to look like you fucked him up. It could be possible that he was wrong and that Tyler Lockett was just fucking with him. But also, man, these Patriots have gotten away with weird penalties for the last 25 years. Tyler Lockett said it wasn't a penalty. And maybe that was just him giving him the verbal fucking finger. But you know what else? You know what else? There's been a lot of penalties in every single game that are never called. That game-winning blocked field goal that these Patriots fans are like, man, if we had just kicked that field goal, we would have won the game. They blocked the field goal. If we had just stopped the field goal if we had just kicked the field goal that they stopped, we would have won. Okay, but what about the previous field goal you guys had kicked through? On that play, I want to say it was Boye Mafe, almost blocked that shit, but you can see the defender tackling him, and there was no flag. What about that? What about plays where we could have possibly prevented it, and you didn't get flagged? Who's choosing favorites here? What about plays where you guys were holding on the offensive line, but they couldn't see it because your tackle and guard were in the line of sight? Now, we do that shit too on the offensive line. Every fucking team does that. The 49ers do it more than anybody. In fact, the 49ers, their whole thing is, well, you can't throw a holding call on every fucking play. What about the fact that that wasn't even a third down in overtime? That was like a second down. What about the fact that they said that they were kicking our ass the whole game, but we dropped 5 to 6 passes that were like 15 to 20 yard bombs? We should have been gashing them, but we couldn't get out of our own way. There's so many what ifs. There's so many what ifs in this game. And it's funny to me. It's so funny to me that the Patriots fans, out of all franchises, are going to complain about those flags. What about the fact that the entire third quarter, the refs just kept fucking throwing flags on us? On the Seahawks, not the Patriots. And it actually led to an entire drive that kept the Patriots alive instead of giving us the ball back. That's part of the reason why Charbonnet didn't have as many rushing yards. That's part of the reason why we didn't have the ball the entire third fucking quarter, is because that drive kept getting extended, was because of the flags. So you can pick and choose all you want. Ultimately, though, if you look at the normal plays that weren't affected by anyone, y'all made some really good running plays. Y'all made some really fucking good running plays. You made some really good plays out of the pocket where Jacoby Brissett bounced off of our defenders who could not bring him down, and then he made a boot, and then he was able to complete a bunch of plays to Hunter Henry, or he was able to get down the field and then get a couple extra yards, just enough for a first down to keep it alive. 2 rushes for 6 yards. Just enough to keep the play alive. Y'all made some with my internet. I'll have to fix this. Anyways, point is, we beat the fucking Patriots. I gotta fix my internet. Thank you for... Oh, now it's fixed. I fucking fixed it. All I had to do was bail. We beat the Patriots, right? We made some good plays. We obviously have a lot of room to grow. What I want to see against this Dolphins, speaking of which, before we get to really breaking down what I want to see, we have a guest. We have a guest, assuming everything holds together. The Broncos fan bailed on us. He ended up having work, and that's okay. But on Thursday, expect a guest appearance from Lisa from the Our Turf Football podcast. I'm collecting them all. We have the Chiefs Kingdom area, Dana from our Hawks, from Hawk Blogger, right? We've had her on. We have Sonia, who's expected to be here for the Week 4 Lions game, right? She's expected. I got her collected like a Pokemon, and then we got Lisa coming in for that Week 3 Dolphins game this week. That video should drop this Thursday, assuming everything collects. Then I just got to get Kate. But I don't know the next time we play the Browns, right? But I just got to get Kate. And then I've collected all 4. And there's like Wanda and the rest of the collector's edition, right? But those are the extra pieces. I'm talking about the solid 4. I don't know if we play the Cowboys today. Maybe I'll get my jinx. But I'm slowly collecting all the Pokemon from Our Turf Football. So, expect a fun guest appearance from Lisa. We'll see if she talks some shit about Geno Smith after he fucking beats the shit. No. She won't. She doesn't like Geno Smith. She doesn't care. She'll be like, he beat the sorry ass Broncos and he beat the sorry ass Patriots. So what? Right? And then she'll be like, yeah, but Tua wasn't starting. He beat the Dolphins when we didn't have Tua, right? She's not gonna care. But I still like her. She's still really cool. She'll be a cool guest. You guys should be excited. But yeah, so what I want to see against this Dolphins team is, can we do better at pass blocking, and can we just tackle at or behind the line of scrimmage? The rest will sort itself out. I bet Mike McDonald and company will figure it out. Anyways, thank you for bearing with me because I haven't been feeling good today or the day before because I've had a cold. I only coughed like once on this stream. Are you proud of me? Like the video. Subscribe to First Kick Seahawks. I'm Camden MacLaren. If you would like to support the show, you can always buy me a coffee. It's in the description below. I will catch you guys around. Go Seahawks.